Hello and welcome to this short explanation of how to work out the cost of a product or service. First of all, we need to look at two types of cost. Costs which can be directly and easily identified with a specific product or a unit of service are called direct costs. The others are indirect costs, sometimes known as overheads. Have a look at this example of an electronics factory. The direct material, labour and expense can quite easily be linked to specific products, but not so the indirect costs. For example, how much of the rent paid for a factory should be charged to the cost of a single product. These indirect costs arise from the various activities which are required to support the creation of products and services. The method used to link these costs to the products and services is activity-based costing. The costs of the support activities go to various production or service departments, out of which come a series of individual products or services. Let's take an example. In the electronics factory, we had spare parts and maintenance. Perhaps they cost £50,000 a year. This is the cost of the support activity of repairing broken machines. If there are 100 breakdowns a year in the factory, the average cost per breakdown is £500. If we experience 20 breakdowns a year whilst making product A, this represents a cost of £10,000, 20 lots of 500. If we made 20,000 units of product A in the year, this averages out at 50 pence per unit. In this way, we can determine how much of each indirect cost to include in the cost of a single unit of product. So here's product A. The direct material and labour expenses are given there. We've just worked out that the cost of repairing the machines is 50 pence each, the cost 50 pence per product. And if we did this for the other costs, other indirect costs, perhaps they came to £7.50. This gives us a total of £11.70 for product A. The example just given can be generalised with this calculation shown on the slide here. Because most businesses have many support activities, activity-based costing can be complex and expensive. Many businesses therefore simplify the process by assuming that all such costs are driven by just one activity, usually the time spent making the product or delivering the service. This is the direct labour hours. So here is the formula from before, adjusted to make the activity just labour hours. The item in the green, the ratio in the green circle, we call the overhead absorption rate. Large organisations often calculate separate rates for different departments or business units. So here's an example of using the overhead absorption rate. Assuming we'd calculated the rate for product A was £70 an hour, then the cost per unit would be like this. The direct costs are the same as before. The indirect costs now total £7 based on the £70 an hour rate. This gives us a total of £10.70. This is different from the activity-based cost because it is a more approximate method. Absorption rates are usually determined at the beginning of a period using budget figures for output and overhead expenditure. These are known as predetermined overhead absorption rates. Total costs calculated using this approach can be used for valuing stocks, calculating profit, and pricing, but they're usually not suitable for short-term decision-making. In most organizations, only production-related overheads are absorbed into the product costs, so we don't include sales overheads or general administration overheads. If you'd like more information on this topic, please follow the link on the next slide. Thank you for your attention.